What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Off the Mic Sports Network and a special edition of Brown's Thoughts. I'm hoping that this is going to be the last off-season topic that I'm going to talk about, and we can actually start talking about real football leading into this weekend. We'll have NFL predictions. I already have every single division out here on the channel, and also a full-on who are my playoff teams, who's winning the Super Bowl. You can go watch that here on the channel. But this story caught my eye. And it's Johnny Manziel. And you guys may be asking yourself, Mike, why the fuck are you talking about Johnny Manziel? He hasn't been relevant. He hasn't played in the NFL in almost a decade, it feels like. And again, listen, this is another one of those quarterback situations that just didn't work out, and it's just emblematic of that jersey. And Johnny Manziel is on that fateful jersey that has, 30, 40 names that have started since 1999. It's one of the biggest running jokes in the NFL. But Johnny Manziel, the story, first of all, the story of how he got drafted is comical. Comical how he got drafted. If you guys don't know the story, Jimmy Haslam, the owner, apparently saw a homeless guy on the street who told him to draft Johnny Manziel, and Johnny Manziel got taken in the first round by the Cleveland Browns. Johnny Manziel was, he came in spot duty and kind of electrified the crowd a little bit. But then when he got ultimately his first time, big time start and on national TV, the Browns got embarrassed. And this guy did not want to learn the playbook. This guy didn't take anything seriously. He was getting drunk. He was getting incognito to leave and going to Vegas. There's stories out there. Braylon Edwards was talking about them going to Miami, like during weeks to go party. And so Johnny Manziel, he was on the Nightcap show with Shannon, Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco. And I think this was fairly recently, within the last couple of days. And Johnny Manziel basically, I've got the quote right here. Bear with me for a second. So he basically said, I think I'll always be looked at and hyped because of how much hype and media and everything that was around me in the city of Cleveland, expecting me to be great, that ultimately not panning out. I sit here today and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to be pissed at them and hate them forever. So it is what it is, man. No love for the Browns. I'm rooting for them to go 0-16 every season. Okay. First of all, before I get knee deep into how comically ridiculous this comment is from Johnny Manziel, can somebody tell Johnny Manziel that there's 17 games in an NFL season now? You can't go 0-16, you fucking idiot. You go 0-17, okay? Just because the Browns have gone 0-16 and they've gone 1-15 doesn't mean that applies now. You've been gone from the NFL so fucking long that you've forgotten that the NFL has added games. Nobody fucking cares about you anymore. This is all about you getting relevant. And, hey, congratulations, you riled me up. Because, listen, it's not easy and let's get to the actual part of this, what he said, which is not about the 0-16 part of this. Why is he mad at the Browns? Why is he mad at the Browns? Okay. And let me get this clear. It is really hard as a Browns fan to defend anybody in that organization, considering how that franchise has been run, considering, some of the decisions and choices that they've made specifically in the last 5 years. The Deshaun Watson trade is at the top of the list. This Shedeur Sanders thing, how ridiculous and laid out it was, and, the disconnect between the ownership and management. It's really ridiculous. It's really hard to defend the Cleveland Browns franchise, the ownership, organization, everything to begin with, because of how inept and, how just comically ridiculous this organization has been for the last 30 years of my existence. And it's just hard to defend them, but I will defend them in this. The Cleveland Browns did everything in their right mind to make Johnny Manziel work in the NFL. They did everything in their right mind. They took this guy in the first round when he was falling down the board. Took this guy in the first round, despite, not really, despite the whole story that I told you guys about of, hey, a homeless guy told the owner to draft him and he listened to him. And this guy, despite failing chance after chance after chance and flaming out and just not looking like an NFL quarterback, They stood by this guy for several years before giving up on him. Several years. And yeah, there were roadblocks put in front of him, like Josh McCown started over him. Brian Hoyer started over him. And they didn't want to put him in there because maybe they didn't think he was ready. And yeah, was I mad 10 years ago when I was, I was in my 20s. I was just out of college when this guy is right around my age, maybe a little bit younger than me. Despite all the red flags and all the stuff that was going on with him in college, the Browns took a chance on this guy. And they gave him every opportunity to succeed. And instead, what did he do? He started partying. He didn't learn the playbook. He was incognito in Vegas. He was going to Miami to celebrate. That came from Braylon Edwards, a receiver on that team's mouth. What more do you want? So because you're just bitter that your only opportunity failed, you're mad at the Cleveland Browns? Fuck you, man. I understand that you had a very acclaimed college career. You won the Heisman Trophy. That's something to be proud of. You got drafted in the first round, despite a lot of people not wanting you. Skip Bayless, who doesn't know fucking dog shit, said you were going to be bigger than LeBron James. Look how that worked out. You failed yourself. You failed the Browns organization for putting all that faith in you by, not taking football seriously. And yet you're mad at the Cleveland Browns. Again, I'm a Browns fan, but I am cynical because I have put so much faith in this organization for most of my life. 25 years we're talking about. We're talking at least 25, close to 30 years. I'm going to be 36 at the end of this month. So most of my life, I have rooted for this godforsaken franchise, and it is hard to see all of the names that have gone elsewhere and been successful, all of the bad years, all of the failed leadership, all of the head coaches, all of the quarterbacks, and all of the poor decision-making that has been made over that course of time. And Johnny Manziel is one of the biggest mistakes ever. And it's because of nonsense like this. How dare this guy go on a podcast with Shannon Sharpe, and that's a whole other issue because Shannon Sharpe is all sorts of problematic in his own right, despite building a successful media career for himself. But for him to go on a podcast and basically say, fuck the Cleveland Browns, I hope they lose every game, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them, even though they were one of the only reasons you even had a shot in the NFL. Go fuck yourself, Johnny Manziel. Go fuck yourself, dude. It's just with Baker Mayfield has been pretty graceful. Yeah, he had that, letter at the end, but he's been very graceful since leaving Cleveland. He's carved out, despite the adversity that he had, he's carved out a career for himself. Johnny Manziel never got another opportunity in the NFL. He had to go to UFL, AFL. I can't even remember what the fuck. It doesn't even matter. But this guy's irrelevant. And yet he goes on a public podcast and basically says, yeah, I hope the Browns go 0-16, leaving out the fact that, hey, you've been gone from the NFL for so long that, hey, there's 17 games, you fucking idiot. It's just, listen, it's not easy for me to defend this organization because they've wronged a lot of fans like me for years. But one thing that they did do right is they gave up on this guy. They gave up on this guy after he failed them chance after chance after chance. So fuck you, Johnny Manziel. Seriously, fuck you until the end of eternity, dude. Because that's just, to me, what are you gaining? What are you gaining? Come on, dude. Seriously, that was ridiculous. So I hope that's the last bit of offseason content I have about the Browns. Frankly, we're probably going to be talking about a bunch of off the field shit this season because I don't think this Browns team is going to be very good. But yeah, season starts on Thursday with Cowboys Eagles, and then you obviously have Browns Bengals to open the season on Sunday, which I've heard is not selling very well. So there's not a lot of excitement around this team this year. So anyway, thanks so much everybody for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.